Top of the day, everybody. Top of the day. I am excited to be here once again for another segment with Nietzsche's Network. Insightful moments, sharing some very amazing people that I think you should know. And I am here with my dear sister friend, none other than I call it the real estate tycoon, the change agent in the city of Chicago, none other than the beautiful Nicole Wheatly. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm so glad you're here. We've done this before, but I thought it's so fitting to do it
Yeah.
again because there's so much going on with the change of community and everything. And I'm like, we need to get Nicole back on the scene so she could talk to us about making some strides, and not only in the Chicagoland area, but overall. And I want you to just go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, Nisha. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. It means the world to me. You know, I love you and Wes and the entire Heart Life Ministry organization and the women of Nisha's Network, too.
Thank
But my name is Nicole Wheatley. I am the proprietor of Steps in Consulting. And I'm just excited to be here. And whatever you want to, let's pour into whoever is online today and help
Yes.
elevate their conscious level. So I'm ready, dear.
Yes. So I want to go ahead and just tell us a little bit about your background in terms of what is Steps in Consulting and what made you get into the industry, and then we'll dive into some more questions.
Okay, awesome. So I'm a community development consultant, and as a consultant, I work to build comprehensive planning processes to rebuild neighborhoods. So people take a look at a neighborhood and they say, "Well, you know what? I don't want to live here. There's vacant properties, vacant land, different things like that." And so they want to move from those areas. Well, when you have a developer's eye, they see that as opportunity. Some people see it as, neglectful, a crisis, something that they want to move from. And other people have a new set of lenses that says, I want to move to this. I want to turn this around and make it vibrant. And so that is the main work that I do. And our company have a contract with the City of Chicago Department of Housing. And so we build comprehensive planning processes to ensure that we revitalize neighborhoods. So your wonderful community like Inglewood, Auburn Gresham, Chatham, some of those areas a lot of people were born and raised in, and they moved from those places. I want to give you a picture of one situation, right? We were born and raised right on 78th and Sealy, and
That's the
most of the
east
homes,
side, right? Is Sealy
yeah,
East?
well, it's south. It's like southwest. It's right by Western, right by Damon, a block off of Damon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so right in that area right now, when my parents bought their home, it was like 30 or $40,000, right? You fast forward to the future, homes in that neighborhood are selling for 200, $250,000. They appreciated in value over time. So a lot of individuals left the neighborhoods when they owned those homes. And then, in 2008, we went through the economic downturn, which a
Yeah.
lot of people walked away from homes too, which I would never encourage that. Stay and fight for your home. There's so many different programs for people to stay in their home. We don't know what the future looks like. For me, I always got to say it's going to look very bright because I refuse to put any negative energy into the atmosphere. I refuse to listen to all of the different reports that people have to say about it. But as people are moving forward, if you're not going to keep that mindset, know that you don't just move out of your home. You can fight for your home to keep it, to keep it and to stay within it. But a lot of people did that. So when they fled, we have to go back. We're making the impacts of people just leaving their homes and leaving them vacant, and the banks having too much inventory, and they're bankers, right? So they went out into rebuilding communities and rehabbing a home. And our properties got into the hands of a lot of investors, and some homeowners stayed to fight. And so we have to go within the trenches of these neighborhoods and try to find solutions because there's so many different pockets. I was just on a block the other day, and there were about 7 homes that I believe I counted. And a block could have anywhere from 30 to 40, 50
Yeah.
homes. And so to see that is like, wow, you can either see it as an opportunity to rebuild on those vacant lands, or some people say, oh, I got to move from here. It's not good. a lot of the blocks in the city are really wonderful. And I mean, you have your pockets of situations, but we work to build new opportunities. And I love the work that I do. I've been doing community development work for over 25 years, or a little bit longer, actually. And I went to school and got my master's in that for urban public policy planning and development at DePaul University. I think that it's important when you see something in the neighborhoods like that that have happened, that we don't just flee from it, right? But that we be a part of the change that we
Yeah.
need to see and making it better and improving upon that land. And also, our organization a few years ago started to sell real estate. And the reason why we added that real estate component into our work is that, we would do a lot of classes to educate and empower people on the importance of owning and operating their own property. Buy a multi-unit first if you're, coming out the gate. You don't have to just go into a home. Buy the multi-unit property first so that it can pay for the home, right? So these were
Yeah.
strategies that we were helping people to think outside of the box so that they can start to acquire economic freedom, right?
Yes.
And so we were doing all these classes and helping people get through the pipeline of home ownership. And then I was seeing some people come back and they didn't never obtain a home. Well, sometimes they only got a small pre-approval, right? But here it is. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're going to make a sacrifice, right? To start where you are. But that doesn't mean don't start at all, right? And
Hmm.
so people were getting discouraged because the realtors that they were working with probably didn't want to do a lot of the work that it takes to help a person get into a $125,000 home or $150,000 home. So me and the ladies I work with, Janice Simmons and some other ladies, went out and we got a license with our individual companies and said, well, you know how they would say in education, let no child be left behind. We
Yes.
said,
Yes.
let no home owners who have the desire in their heart to be left behind in that field.
So you basically will take anyone that has a desire, you'll educate them and get them, going in terms of where they need to head in order to purchase a home or become an investor. Now, I wanted to well, I guess that's what you were saying, right? Because my mind is going
Absolutely.
1,000 miles a minute. So what I wanted to talk about, though, let's talk to the people who have had to rebuild. What steps would you recommend that they take in terms of just really saying, for instance, you didn't start off the right way. You didn't start off with, purchasing that multi-unit or that, multi-unit in order to help you to build financial wealth and then buy the home. What do you have to say to those people? Where should they start if they already are in debt? They already have a mortgage and they need to do something different. But they say, I want to become an investor. What necessary steps should they take?
That's a really good question. I think that I'm going to say for me, because in 2008, I was a part of that downturn. But I want to also talk about that for 1 second because the downturn really existed in my mind, right? The minute I accepted the reports that they had to say about sell your properties, get rid of everything, and the implication of the fear that was deposited into the minds of so many individuals during that time frame, that was an issue. So the first thing that I would say to any and everyone is to be thou encouraged, right? Stay
And be encouraged.
focused on
Okay.
the goal that whatever your situation is, it will be behind you soon, right? When I shifted my thinking, because one of my girlfriends, Janine, she said, she gave me this book that forever changed my life. I've read it 4 times. I bless people with this book in their journey. I would never encourage somebody to start a business without reading it now, but it's called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. And I'm gonna just tell you this quick story because it's my truth, right? In 2008, when everything was really going haywire, and again, I'm taking responsibility because I really had lost faith in my
Okay.
process, right? I did. I was thinking, God, how could you have forsaken me? I have tithe. I give. I'm a giver. I do this. I do that. Why is my business failing? Why am I losing things? Why am I having to make a decision to give my property back to the bank? And I was just like, wow, I don't want to be in this situation. I was a little upset with God. I'm like, you know what? Ooh, why are you doing this to me?
Yes.
And but then I really, when she introduced me into that book, it helped to restore back my faith. My faith in God and how He works, and sometimes He allows us to go through different trials and tests, and that we still have to trust Him even in those uncomfortable moments. And so that was an awakening for me. So I would tell people right away that if you've lost faith in whatever situation that brought you down, then build that faith back up to encourage yourself to know that without a shadow of a doubt that God is with you every step and that you will and shall be successful. And you have to deposit that into your heart. So
Yeah.
every day I began to say, I am success. Success. I am healthy, happy, whole, perfect, wealthy, and complete. I can do all things through God. I just had to keep
Yeah.
saying these things that were on the tip of my tongue. The more that I said them, the more that I saw them on the paper that I read with all my affirmations, the more that I believed them.
Yeah.
I made a prayer box and a praise box.
Yeah.
And those things that I was still praying on, like, how was this water bill gonna get paid?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That is $2,500. How am I going to be able to keep my car? How am I going to, all these things I started to put in the box? And you would not believe how many of those things transferred over to the praise box, even some of the buildings that I owned that I had a strong connection to. So, number one, increase your faith
Okay.
in your work that you want to do. Trust God through this process and never give up.
And I'm sure
Then
you
the
have to
second
hang with people that actually will believe that you can.
Exactly. You have to. Because if you have other doomsday people around you, unfortunately, you're going to start believing that report. And I want to say something about that. I know that it has taken a lot of work in my life, and it is still a daily journey to remember that there's two natures beating in our breasts. One is foul, one is blessed. One we love and one we hate, but the one we feed will dominate. And so every day I'm waking up wanting to dominate the better entity in me.
Yeah.
And we all have it. And this is a fact. We all have the ability to pop off, to be negative, to not do the right thing. But you have to control that entity because it is destructive and it brings destructive things. But if you believe in the infinite possibilities of you soaring, then that is what you're going to gravitate to. And that's what you're going to see as an end result.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And that's how my life was turned back around.
That's so
And
good.
thank you. And the other thing too is that we have to deal with what the issues are, right? I could pray and affirm and everything else. What that did was build up my faith. It helped to increase my energy so that it could flow to the right things. And
Hmm.
then I knew what to do. I knew, listen, I need to repair my credit. I went from a 799 to five something, right? I'm going to deal with this. And every single person that I owe, I am going to deal with that as well. So I
Yeah.
would put every bill with a praise note on it, asking that it be thou resolved now quickly and peacefully. And I promise you, because I had a positive attitude about it and picked up the phone, I wasn't one of those people who they call and be like, me speaking no English, we gonna do that, right?
You know
I'm
people
like,
do it.
no, let's work through this.
Own what
Let's
you
deal
what you
with it.
own what you owe.
Right.
Own what you
Own
owe.
what you
Yeah.
owe. And so I would open up the letters, I put a love letter on it, and I would call them. And I was just authentic. Listen, I'm really not where I am, where I should be right now financially, but I want to do the right thing by you. And you would not believe how many people on the other end had compassion for me. And so many people worked out deals with me that I never thought, dropping interest rates, removing a lot of the debt. I needed to speak up and speak out.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I did that, I was able to eliminate some things. And then I started to write letters. I have a free ebook credit ebook online. I encourage people, if you will make the time. See, I realized that I messed my credit up myself, so I wanted to fix it so I could value it different.
Mm.
I didn't want to go to a credit
Okay,
company. I really,
somebody. That's true. You
yes, I
will
wanted
value it
to,
different. Yes.
yeah, I wanted to get some skin in the game in this one because I said never will I allow my credit to be short again by nothing or no one. I'm
Yeah.
not going to ever happen. And that was a piece of it. So I wrote this credit ebook. It's online. It's completely for free with all the forms that people can download, and then they can work and write the letters themselves and send that information out. Deal with the beast of the credit issue. You will not believe the miracles that will manifest when you decide to put the pen to the paper and do the work. Literally, it takes 35 minutes to read the ebook, and it only takes about 30 additional minutes after that to print the letters and do it. And some people still don't do it. I want to tell you this quick story. There was a gentleman and he asked me, "You fix your credit, you got this, you got that, you've been restored. Can you help me? Can you help me? Can I tell you what to do?" I said, "Listen, get the ebook, do the work, da da da." Then I even went to his office and I said, "Listen, I'm gonna help you. Print the letters out here. This is this, and that. Go and take them to the post office. This is the way you do it." Those letters were still in his desk a
Oh no,
year later. He
no.
never sent them. But when he finally did, he got things removed off of his credit. And I was
Yeah.
just thinking, you could have been in such a better situation before, but it's something in us that wants to choose to just get angry about the situation instead of, triumph ourselves through the situation. Anger is not going to fix anything. It's
No.
not. Don't be mad about your current situation. Be glad that you're still above ground and you have the ability to do something different about the situation, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the way you have to see it, as an opportunity to create more success in your life, an
Yeah.
opportunity to learn something that you can pass along to someone else that they can do to help their life become better, right? It's these small seeds that you have to sow. So, once you build your faith and affirm goodness back into yourself, and then you go out and you start dealing with the credit issue, right? We also have to deal with something that is, I'm going to say, that I believe, and even as I'm saying it, I put the finger even at myself, that we like to live extravagant lifestyles. We like to look like we're more than what we really, I'm not going to say are, because these things don't make us. We
Right.
are everything and more already without all the extremely expensive, lavish things. But I'm going to give you some ideas about some of those things that's sitting with dust up in your house now. You might want to start putting them on Craigslist, eBay, and all the other Amazon, wherever it can go.
Yeah.
Facebook shopping, whatever you call that thing that's online there, and start selling off some of those things and start your money building your money. Put a goal, write a check to yourself or where you want to have in your bank account. What is it that you want to have? See yourself having that amount of money in your bank account and realize that it was real. I'm going to tell you, I had an account back in the day with six figures in it, right? And it was a good feeling, a good position to be in. And I was just put that in a bank account. I kept a copy of it in front of me to know what I had the ability to do once before, right? That was important. You find something that's a symbol for you for what it is that you want to achieve, and then you don't let anything stop you, and you do it in a good, godly way, right? That means you don't have to go out and compromise to do something on the street to get yourself hurt, get yourself in jail. None of that. You ain't got to do that for this. See, this is a divine connection because we come from a very wealthy God who is rich, who wants to instill richness into us. But the richness got to start here in thinking, and then we go out and we allow ourselves to stop negative behavior.
Wow.
So I had to stop the excessive shopping to impress other people who really ain't nothing to impress, right?
Exactly.
I should be trying to impress you. I really should be putting my intentions on impressing myself, my God within me, and also my family in a good way by depositing something that they'll have on this earth to cherish at some point. So we need to build our bank accounts. We need to start
Yes.
building it, and you create a snowball effect. So you got to
Yes.
start somewhere with a seed, somewhere with the seed where you commit no matter what. Out of my check, I'm putting up 20% of it. I don't care. I'm gonna start learning to do my own hair, get my own nails done, whatever you got to do. These are things that I did. I didn't go to the shop anymore because I didn't have the money. I just didn't. And I didn't go to the nail shop very often or to the hair shop. I had to make a decision. And so I started to snowball my funds, and so that you put some here, and then you see that, oh, I could save 20%. It's really not as bad as I thought it was. And then the next thing you know, you become a contagious saver instead of an excessive spender.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. This is so good. I didn't realize the 25 minutes was going to go so fast. But listen, I wanted to ask, what can people expect when they come, when they log on to NicoleJWheatley.com? What should they expect in terms of, like, getting the process started? What are some of the first steps that people can do in terms of because I love that you say you strive for the best and change your community a step above your expectation. I know you to be a woman of excellence, and you and your husband, and just walking in the space of really bringing people to change. So what can people expect their first steps to be? Because a lot of people let shame keep them bound from, I don't really want anyone to know, how bad things really are. Well, you have just heard Nicole be very transparent about her situation, and how God just completely turned that thing around because of the increase of faith, because of changing your mindset, because of the fact that you read up on things that will shift your, very existence. So Nicole, what are some of the things, as we bring things to a little bit of a close, to say what can people do and expect when they call or log onto your website?
Well, I'm going to say the first thing is that, do the client intake information so that we can capture your information and then contact you. I think that it's important to move all shame to the side, because every last one of us that's working to help people is because we've been there and we know what it feels like. And we want to be able to help change that for individuals, right? And so remove those things. And also, prepare an affirmation already. Find one. You could Google Catherine Ponder's affirmation. You could Google affirmation. Find something that you can hold on to, that you're going to believe in, or grab that book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. If you're not a book reader, which I need the paper in front of me, get the audio book, but encourage yourself through the process, number one, and believe in the infinite possibilities that change can and will manifest. I would say those are the most important things to do, because when you come on our site, then we will help you get into where you need to go, connect you with a HUD counseling agency, get you going.
Wow. I mean, it's kind of exciting. I feel like I need to come sit down. Let me go fill out my consultation. Let me go on the
Okay,
website right now.
Catherine.
Me and Wes, we're gonna go sit at the seat. I'm so grateful for everything you've shared, and I think that one of the things that I'm guilty of, being younger and not really purchasing that multi-unit building, and really wanting to see where can we tie into building more streams of income, especially since Wes is retired now. But young couples, that are just starting out, that don't have the programs, that where people say, you know what, I don't have any money to put down, or you said, I don't
Mhm.
have any money to save my home, or I lost my job. You said there's so many organizations out there that will give you help. You don't just have to quit and give up. What are some of those organizations, or what is that what they'll find when they come into Steps in Consulting?
Well, you know what? There's a lot of different organizations that people can go directly to, right? And so you just look up HUD certified counseling agencies is where I would start for people who want to go back and get their home. If you haven't owned a home in your name in 3 years, you could go back and get another one as a first time home buyer, right? So you can, if you meet some of the other criterias that are in place to prepare for home ownership. So you got neighborhood housing services, you got Far South CDC, you have the Resurrection Project. There's an infinite amount of these places that are out there for you. Just do a search on Google. We connect with some of the ones that we have relationships with, right? So that we can keep up with you. So we stay in connection with you on a monthly basis so that we don't get you too far away and that you don't lose sight of your goal. So that's why it's important, if you want to work with us, that and help us get you to the finish. I want to tell you about this gentleman, and I know that he would be okay with me saying his first name, but Mr. I'm gonna just say Mr. Julius. Mr. Julius came to the classes Janice and I were doing about 2 years ago, and he at the time came in seeking information, and he didn't have anything. He didn't have the money right at the time. He did have a job. He had some debt. He had some situations that he needed to work out. But this young man, had faith in his heart like never before. And to fast forward, it took about a year and a half, but we closed on getting him a two flat property. And
Wow.
he's now even in the process of buying another one. He had very little money to put down because we negotiated on his behalf.
Mm,
So he went out and he did the things to build what he needed to prove to the bank that he was fiscally responsible and had a certain amount of money in the account, but he ended up not even needing it. And
wow.
that is because this young man's faith was unparalleled. He was not giving up, he was not quitting. I'm so
Wow.
proud of him. That
Wow.
was one of the closings, and his building was less than $100,000, and now
Wow.
he lives in one that pays for itself, and he's ready and preparing now for his second one. Just that story reminds me of me when I first bought my first property at the age of 23. I love that. So these are some of the things, right? Some people can come in and they are ready to rock and roll, and they didn't know it. They didn't even know it because they were too afraid to check. So they even let fear encapsulate their thinking to not even go out and figure if they could or could not be approved.
Wow.
That's how the false evidence appearing real can be in our minds.
Yeah.
And so we have to know that I got to take this step, because even if I'm not ready today, I can get ready for the
Yes.
day. And I'm
Yes.
saying for that day, because sometimes that day is 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And so you just have to work within where you are and be okay with starting there and say, well, okay, God knows the perfect timing for your divine connection, your divine
Yeah.
blessing. And he can't, your blessings can't get mixed up with nobody else's. So your house gonna be waiting for you when you're
Exactly.
ready. Or your
Exactly.
building's gonna be waiting for you. And I want to say this too, although I encourage people, who have a desire in their heart to create real estate into a business, to buy a multi-unit first. But if you know that that's not what you want to do, I never want to be no landlord, because people fear that sometimes. There's a lot of classes to learn how to become a landlord. But if you choose that that's not the path you really want, I understand everybody is not equipped to be one, and it's okay because they don't have a desire in their heart. And it can be catastrophic if you don't. But if you do, then take the classes to learn how to become one. But if you don't stay a renter. Don't keep making someone else wealthy. Start building wealth for you and your family,
Yes.
to
Yes.
create a legacy of love, to leave, or to enjoy in retirement and say, hey, I'm about to take whatever I have accumulated in my your availability that you may have from the difference of what you owe on that mortgage, and you go ahead and take that seat and say, hey, I'm gonna go move now back down south, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that because I can pay for something.
Yeah.
That's what owning a home has offered many, many people. They've
Hmm.
been able to pay off their mortgage. I don't believe if people get into long-term debt, no 30-year mortgages, learn to fast forward it, pay them off in 10 to 15 years. There's a strategy behind that. But again, it means no excessive spending
Yes.
and being a contagious saver.
And no excessive spending, but also no excessive giving. Because I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell you something.
that's true.
Me and Wes were talking about this last night on a podcast. We were like, we give so much away that we need to really kind of pay it, and really probably now more than ever. But and there's nothing wrong with giving. It's better to give than to receive, but don't give out of your empty. That's the thing.
That's
Make
true.
sure that your own home is filled up. So anyway, that's a whole nother story for another day. Thank you so much for today. This is so good. And if you all are watching, please go ahead and share and go to our YouTube channel, because we won't be on Facebook very long. Our season is coming to an end, and we're going to just go wholly on our YouTube channel. So we want you guys to go and subscribe to Nisha's Network. YouTube channel, and we're very excited. But Nicole, this has been so impactful and so powerful and empowering. And like she said, Nicole said, go purchase the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Read it. If you're not a reader, go get the audio book, and that way you can strengthen your business mindset as well as your entrepreneur mindset, or your mindset in general, right? So
Yes.
anyway, you have any last encouraging words for everyone, Nicole?
I would just say I would carry this card case around, right, when business cards was real popular, all during this time. And I had a note on it that said, never, ever, ever quit. And so every time I went into my purse, that's what I saw. And every single time that I may have felt a little bit discouraged while I was in that road, I had something in front of me. I started to put the affirmation in my phone for it to ring. I am success. SUCCESS, success. Before I got ready to go into a meeting, before I went to a bank to ask for something, whatever it took to keep chiming in the most powerful spiritual good entity that exists within me. And do the same for yourself. God bless you all and thank you.
Oh, that is so good. Well, you guys, she has brought the power today, Nicole Wheatly. Go to NicoleJWheatley.com, you guys. And also, I do have the site for her a business, the real estate site. So you all can go there. I went on there, some phenomenal, amazing, encouraging pictures that'll say, oh, hey, I need to do this. I need to do this.
Yes.
So thank you so much for Nicole for today. And until next time, you guys, have a blessed day and be successful.
Yes.
All right. Bye bye. Hang
All
tight.
right. Bye bye.